I'm Em and this is Happy Crafting. Now, as a crafter, I get through art supplies like nobody's business, so I thought it'd be great to find some fun, if not slightly odd ways, to make my own. Are you ready to be transported back in time? Great, because we're making paper. It's actually an ancient technique that's surprisingly easy and weirdly fun. Firstly, you're gonna need to rip up a load of scrap paper. Oh, need that one. Notebooks ready, shredding paper, yeah. I honestly feel like a hamster. I just feel like I'll turn around this endless pile of shredded paper. Now that that's all shredded, it's time to blend it. I'm just popping it in this little blender and filling mostly up with water. Now it's time to blend all of our paper into a pulp. Yeah, that sort of like smoothie consistency, that's what we're after. I've already blended up the rest of the papers, so we have a nice box of pulp. Now, to make my paper more fun, we're gonna change the colour. I'm just using some acrylic paint to change the colour of my paper. I'm just gonna mix that all up. Now it's time for the mould. I'm just stapling this window mesh. I'm using 2 layers just to make it a bit stronger onto the back of this frame. This basically acts as a sieve and helps scoop up all the pulp. And this top frame helps create nice edges to our paper. So we'll just lower this into the pulpy water. Make sure we get a nice thick layer. You can see this because the water starts draining out really slowly. There we go. Okay, and I'm just gonna very carefully sponge off some of the excess water. Super careful. Okay. Now most of the excess water's off, it's time to iron it out. There we go, turned it out. I'm just using a piece of cotton as a base because I know that it can take the high temperatures of the iron. Moment of truth. And there we go. Yeah, it definitely lightens up a lot when it's dry. But the texture's quite nice. It's sort of thick, a bit like watercolour paper. I'm so excited to see how these work. But first, we need a couple more supplies. I love the idea of making my own paint, and I found a way you can do it using natural ingredients like vegetables and berries and whatnot. So I decided to go and see what I could find. Unfortunately, I live in London, so this was, well, unfruitful. After a minor detour to the shops, I found this cabbage. I'm wearing gloves because I do not want to get cabbage juice all over my hands. I'm going to start by chopping up the cabbage into these itty bitty pieces. The more we cut it up means that more water can get in and we can get some more of that sweet cabbage juice. After I let it simmer for a bit, I then removed the cabbage and boiled the water down to create a more concentrated colour. Now, I can and will use this really cool purpley colour, but there's a fun trick with cabbage. So I'm just going to divide it up into these 3 pots. Now, by adding the citric acid, we can turn it. Oh yeah, it goes red. I love this, it's so cool. And by adding some baking soda, and not too much. I definitely didn't do this wrong. Oh dear. Oh, okay. With a brief cleanup, let's try that again. Okay, so adding some baking soda, it goes a little bit foamy, but it turns into a really nice violet. I'll just show you the colours by dipping a bit of paper in each one. There's a nice purpley one. There's our pinky citrus one. And it almost looks navy with the baking soda at the moment. So we've got our paint. Now for the rest of the supplies. One of the most commonly used supplies is a paintbrush. Traditionally, they were made with horsehair, so I thought I could use the next best thing, dog hair. And I know just the person to ask. Can you send me some dog hair?
You want some of my dog's hair?
So after thoroughly confusing some friends and waiting a couple of days for my canine hair to arrive in the post, it's time to make our brushes. I'm going to start by spreading out this dog hair. Just gonna spread there a bit. Now for the glue. Ooh yeah, squidging on all of the glue. I'm going to spread it out as thin as I can. I'm just using a bit of plastic. And once it's spread, it's time to roll it up. Try and keep a really tight roll. Now, to add some fanciness, I'm sticking it into a bit of copper pipe. I'm just gonna crush the end here. That's it. There we go. Just to help hold it in place. Now, I'm using this old pencil for mine, but any kind of stick or dowel would work. I've also made a short hair version, just to give myself some variety. And finally, it's time to try all the supplies together. I'll start with my long-haired Colin brush. I'm so impressed with how many colours I got from the cabbage. The colour of this purple is so nice on the brush. It's actually quite a smooth paper. It's got a little bit of texture to it, but it's still definitely a paintable surface. This was actually the one with baking soda in, but I left it for a little while and it's kind of gone more green. If someone wants to explain the science on that, please feel free to. This red is nice as well. I want it to look like on the paper. The paper is nice, but it does really eat the paint. I kind of want to see what it's like with some acrylics and stuff as well. So I get a much wider brush stroke with the Dobby hairbrush, but kind of a bit less control on the smaller things. It has been so great painting with my own supplies. Actually surprised how well this turned out. And I think it's a really fun experiment to try. It's been so much fun making my own supplies. If you guys try any of them, we'd love to see it. Remember to comment, like, subscribe, all that jazz. But till next time, happy crafting!